actually put down the
Did happen.
blacktop.
We live?
Yep.
Call this meeting to order, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
approval of minutes from 21st of April meeting and special meeting from 4/17.
Make a motion to approve the minute from the special meeting of 4/17.
I'll second. All in favor? Any motions for regular meeting? I'll second. All in favor? Approval of claims. Give you a chance to read them.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Dusty?
Hold on. Okay, first thing, the All-Star Paving that bid out for the ARPA money for blacktop, they overrun on that blacktop. So I don't know what you all want to do about that.
What do you mean overrun?
So
Remember a contingency in their quote.
yeah, we didn't have.
They was doing X number of miles and
So on, I think it was O'Day Road and Scotts Ridge was the worst two that they went over on the tonnage. And
but they didn't quote tonnage, they quoted center line miles, right?
yeah, well, you quote tonnage too, because when we set out basically the bid, we run and see what tonnage we think it's gonna take and all that. So they was kind of quoting by tonnage as well. But they went over on them too, which Scotts Ridge, it was pretty rough shape. So was O'Day Road. But I don't know what y'all wanna do about that.
We've never, in my 6.5 years as a commissioner,
Yeah.
we've never had anybody
Right.
have an overrun. So I guess I'm not familiar with.
And-
We always quote center line miles. I wasn't even aware we quoted tonnage.
Yeah, well, we try to get basically something to bid off of, what we think it's gonna take.
That's something
But
they
it's-
screwed up then?
I'm not gonna say that because they gotta go out and look at it as well to bid on it, so they should know what it's gonna take when they go out and look at it as well.
Okay,
It was a bidded job.
it was a bidded job.
Yeah, it was-
So they looked at it, they did it, we accepted it, they went over, right?
Yep.
That's their problem.
Okay.
How
And-
much was it?
46.
47,120.
Oh, I
Sure seems.
I agree.
And Steven said he can come down to a meeting too if you all want him to.
What's he
explain. If you need something to him to explain why it went over and all that.
Do we have your contract
Mhm.
with them?
Yeah, well, just what we bid out, yeah.
Could I see all those stuff?
Yeah. I think we do. So I'll get you documents on that, and we'll go from there. And O'Meara did get finished with their part of the ARPA money as well. They come in right where it should have been.
Jamie, you
So
said
we'll-
you never had 6 years.
Not in the 6 years that I've been a commissioner, we've never had anybody come back requesting additional monies because of an overrun.
And I can tell you from the school when we've had that a couple of times and it was on the individual that quoted the bid.
So I'll table that one until I get you the information and stuff on that. So crews fixed the slip on Spring Branch Road. We'll go back once that hardens up and settles in, and we'll reseal the top of that road. The HMA overlay projects on Pillman, Lewis, Elmo Rails, O'Day, Brooks, Sweetwater, Severs, McKay, and Scotch Ridge are finished, as well as the HMA overlay projects on Goodner, Herman, Colin, and Aaron Road are finished. The pothole machine is out patching potholes. Crews are also using cold patch to patch smaller potholes. And the Willow Creek subdivision, we did get out to check it. The base is good on it. We've dug, I think Roger dug 3 or 4 spots there. There's about 10 inches of base total. The width of the roads are anywhere from 12 to 14. There is a few spots that's 18 foot. It's gonna need at least some ditch work and stuff done, maybe a little bit of surface rock and brought up to what I would say would be a good standard.
Okay.
Basically cleaned up, touched up.
Does he know all that yet?
No, I have not talked to him yet. And I do have, if you all wanna look at it. So this is the newest ordinance I can find. On what we're looking for as far as specs. Jamie, I don't know, you make it easier. Yeah, I think you was on that, looks like redone. Is that the newest one you're finding? Cause the other one I found, it talks about being blacktop, like if it meets.
Well, if it originally, if it connected to a paved surface, then it had to be
Yes.
paved as well.
Yeah,
We went back and changed that 24, no, 23 or 24, I don't remember, but it was changed.
yeah, but that's to this new one, correct?
Let me finish it.
Cause I only found 2, which one was this one from 18, and that one was from 20.
Is that the new one that you got right
I
there?
believe so, yeah,
It's 2020 is the date on that one then. You
yeah.
think there's a newer one since
Well,
then?
that's the newest one I have found. I don't know if there's a newer one than that, but I think that's the newest one. If we do have a newer one, I don't know.
We've got a new one, because we changed it after 2020 on top.
Okay.
And I forget. I think the road,
And that one there you got is basically the same as this one from 18, but this one's the one that talks about if it meets a blacktop road, it also has to be blacktop.
and you're saying that one's separate from this?
Yes,
Maybe we
I think you read that.
eliminated that one or something. I know we changed
Yeah,
that because there was a couple requests, for roads that connected to paved surface roads. And it wasn't really reasonable to ask them to pave those roads. I don't remember the exact details, but I did
yeah,
change it. I think it would have been in probably either 22 or 23 that we made that change.
okay. So I need to look for a newer one than that.
Then then the 2018.
Similar to what I have. 23 on.
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah, would please. So, okay. So back to that,
So this one actually replacing the eighteen,
Yes, I
twenty
believe
actually
so.
replaced the 18.
yep, I believe so.
On Scotts Ridge, do we put edging gravel down?
We will, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything we
Somebody asked me
blacktop,
that, so I'm pretty sure. I'll ask.
yep, everything we blacktop, we will. Now, some of the high traffic roads will actually put 53 stone on, cause it's got lime in it, it'll pack down, hold together a little tighter.
Yeah.
But some of the less traveled roads, we might put blacktop millings on, which they will pack down too, as long as you don't have a lot of traffic disturbing them while they're, so we will get to.
What did you say, you mentioned this maybe in passing or on the last meeting, that we start looking at next year, year after as far as roads, or is that already planned out?
For like
For
blacktop and chip and
26,
seal.
27, 28.
Yeah, that's, I've actually brought some of that stuff for y'all. So back to the Willow Creek. I mean, the base is there, the culverts look good, the ditches need to be cleaned out, straightened up, culverts need cleaned out, and we need a little pressure rock on top. And if that is the newest ordinance, then we need it maintained for a year.
Year, so they do there.
So basically, this is off of our asset management. It gives us the pager rating of what our roads are at. Here's a smaller chart to kind of tell you the percentage of. And this way y'all kind of have something, and I got the full asset management too, if y'all want to. Basically, 10 is the best, 1 being the worst. It kind of highlights the roads so you can see if you're in. And this is kind of what we picked by. So basically, anything a 5 or less really needs blacktop. And most generally, anything like under a 3 really needs milled and overlaid, but usually we can't afford to mill them.
At some point, we're gonna have to. though.
Yes, at some point we will. But we gotta get enough blacktop there that we can mill it, so we're not milling back into the dirt. Which is gonna be quite a few years away. So yeah, you all can kind of go through that and look at some of the roads. I do have the full asset management if you want to go through it as well. And maybe start picking some of the roads you'd like to see blacktopped or chip and sealed. And I do have a list started from what we had left over last year. I can bring that in as well.
How many, I'm just curious, how many dead end roads do we have?
We've got quite a few.
Yeah.
I don't know the actual number, but we got quite a few.
Because I'm looking at this, and the red looked to be all dead end.
Yeah. So now that we're talking about blacktops as well, we got some changes coming in community crossings as well. So the 25-2 draw that we've been working on, getting ready to submit, is no longer available. So hopefully we'll know more around October if we can put in for the 26 draw. But they've also cut a lot of the funding for community crossings, so there's gonna be a lot less money to compete for now as well.
You know, good. And Gary, maybe you can help me. One of the bills that was passed, or correct me if I'm wrong, maybe didn't pass. If your county doesn't have a wheel tax starting in, forget what year, then you're no longer eligible for community crossings as well.
I believe
You
it's
know, if
20.
Richland County has a wheel tax,
We don't.
we don't. So that's something that council would have to
Yeah.
adopt.
There were certain thresholds that I want to confirm on the final pass bill, because it went back and forth and there were some changes. And then we decreased you only need a 20% match instead of
Yes.
25% match.
Yep.
So there were some good things.
Yeah, there was some
Well,
good things.
I didn't know that there was less money distributed.
Yeah, but, well, that's what I've heard. I'm not gonna swear to it. But didn't they give 50% of that to Marion County?
Marion County got a
that
big chunk
300
of this,
million?
yeah.
Yeah.
But, and then it allows townships to also invest some of their roads if they have extra money. I don't know if you know that or not.
I mean, all the roads we're already doing are in townships.
It just gives it extra flexibility if they have some of that extra money, that they could invest. But I need to see exactly where the wheel tax ended up, because the bill that we had that passed, the first time, basically had a threshold that said, you can't get X number of dollars if you don't have a wheel tax, but that shouldn't have impacted Switzerland County. But let me confirm what that is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And I mean, there was some other good things in there too, like now I think if we do community crossings, we can also do low water crossings. Whether it be putting in a new crossing or replacing culverts in the crossing, so that's plus too.
But it would have to be their specifications.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah,
Or you could do low water crossings.
yeah,
But typically maybe that won't happen in this situation, but typically what happens is the price is 10 times what
right, yeah,
to NDOT specifications
yeah,
versus what we do locally, right?
yeah. Um. Yes, you are correct. I think if we do have to have a wheel tax, well, not only do we have to have our asset management for roads,
Right.
bridges, but then we'll have to have. a
And I
wheel
wasn't
tax.
worried about the asset management because I know we already have it,
Right.
but the road tax, or excuse me, the wheel tax, I knew,
Yeah,
or I was pretty sure we didn't have.
yeah,
And we want to make sure that we cover that base
yeah,
because obviously we don't want to not get whatever the money says, typically $1 million a year.
yeah. Yeah, last two, it's been up to 1.5 billion.
And Garrett, you'll find out for sure.
Yeah,
The wheel tax applies and
I'm doing it right now.
whatever we need to do to get that on council's agenda and get it in place.
And we may even wanna have we may even wanna have a special meeting or something about this bill. So we can get more clarity on everything that's changed. Cause if I've read it right, our MVH might even change as well, as far as the money we get. So we could have more problems there.
I'll see what here comes up with.
Yep.
I'll be good after the-
Sounds good. If nothing else, maybe we can meet with council as well, so everybody's on the.
That's what I mean, if whatever he comes up with,
Yep.
have a joint.
Okay. Think, and speaking of community crossings, we got our, money for Aaron Road and Antioch Road come in, which was $742,040.40. We're gonna put our match in with that from our 1173 account, which would be $247,346.80. That will bring our total up to $989,387.20 to pay for the community crossings. And I'll take that. I need to take that to council, right, just to let them know what's going on.
Yeah, you guys got a copy of that.
They will take it
Yeah.
from there. So-
I'll take
Yeah, I
that.
got it there.
Yep, I'll take that to council.
And not to, repeat myself from the last meeting again, so that 989, how many miles does that cover?
That's 7 miles.
So 7 miles, 989,000.
Yep. Yep. And then, so the other portion of that will be for, Antioch Road, which we talked about a little bit before. We got 2 unofficial detours on that, which one's already running behind. So once they get done, I'll get with the state about the reimbursements on that road, and hopefully we can get it reimbursed before we actually put blacktop down and get it fixed, and then put the new blacktop over top of it.
How's Evans Hill looking? I went up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, trying to keep that thing up as rough. But last time
The
it was
actual
down,
hill, so,
uh,
the actual hill itself.
yeah, the gravel, cause it's got so much traffic on it from the detours.
Evans Hill.
Yeah. Because they're supposed to be using Antioch, but
Yeah.
everybody's passing it up and going until they can't get nowhere else, and then they're shooting up there too. Okay, I think I covered everything except for the bid opening. So these will be the bids for the reimbursement for Kennett Road, a little bit on Bradford Road, and the shoulder berming on Aaron Road. We got two bids.
Said already have this one.
Hopefully we're
Yeah,
good.
if history is any indication.
Yeah.
This is for how many miles here? Yeah.
Actually, this will be for cutout sections and repairs. So we won't actually be paving the entire road. And mostly Kennett will get the most of this work because it got destroyed the most. And then basically at the intersection of Bradford and Lake Geneva, there's a small spot for repair there.
Okay, this first one's from Paul H. Rowe Company out of Aurora. Is this the total bid that you put on top of you?
I don't know what they put in there. Okay.
This is all state. This is from
Yeah.
that money.
Yeah.
This is not counting.
Well, depending on what the bids come in, but yeah, we got
Right,
so
right.
much money from the state.
Okay, so again, Paul H. Rowe Company out of Aurora, has done a total project bid of $189,915 even.
You say 915?
189,915.
You can say the word yourself. 130.
180, 180 something. Should have brought that, so.
Second bid is from Dave Lemare, contractor, North Vernon. Total bid of $163,715.50. 163,715.50.
Since I'm not from, I didn't look at it. Do these quotes include any striping or berming or anything like that? No.
The berming, yes.
Berming, yes.
So Aaron Road from Highway 250 to Indian Trail, that'll cover the reburn that, because we had just done all that before that detour. And there's so much tonnage on there for rock, for berming, there. But there won't be no berming or striping on Kennett or Bradford.
I'm gonna ask this question too, and you may or may not know the answer. So if we approve the 163, regardless of which one we approve, and the state money is what they said they would award is higher, can we do the
Yeah,
striping and that sort of thing to utilize or use the full award?
I think we can do as much as the repairs to the road. up to that 180. I'll have to check to be sure. Like it wasn't,
Question.
yeah, it wasn't striped before, so we couldn't do striping, but maybe more shoulder berming or more fixes on the blacktop.
If they give us all that money, we can strike it. We own the. do the
Well,
striping
it's-
machine there.
So that money's basically to put the road back to the state it was before they used it as a detour.
Right,
So I don't think we could put it towards something new.
they won't give you additional.
Well, they probably would, like if we're gonna do shoulder berming to fix that, but I don't think it'll be for anything above what was there before it was tore up.
I guess my question, if we accept a bid less than what their estimates were that they said they would give us, can we use the rest of that money to do additional
There again, I'd have
work
to
to those
ask.
roads?
Yeah, I'd have to ask.
Okay.
I think we could as far as fixing what was there, but
With, I guess with that said, I'd make a motion to, approve Dave Omar contractor in the amount of $163,715.50.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
because this is actually a reimbursement, so whatever work's done, we'll turn to the receipts, they'll reimburse that.
No, I just like to use the other 17,000 if we can.
Yeah, me as well, yeah. And I will check on that portion of it. And I think that's all I got. Yep.
All right, old business. We'll finish this power of attorney on the DEA order form, Forest Administration. I will read it out loud. This is power of attorney. Regarding the DEA order forms, we've got our DEA registration number now. We tabled it last week till we received that. So this says, I, Ryan Harrison, Switzerland County Commissioner, on behalf of Switzerland County, Indiana, the undersigned, who is authorized to sign the current application for registration of the above named registrant under the Controlled Substance Act or Controlled Substance Import and Export Act, have made, constituted, and appointed, and by these presents do make, constitute, and appoint Ryan Everman, Emergency Medical Director of Switzerland County Emergency Response, for me in my name, place instead to execute applications for books of official order forms such as DEA Form 222, and to sign such order forms in requisition for Schedule 1 and 2 controlled substances, including electronic orders, in accordance with Section 308 of the Controlled Substance Act, Title 21, USC 828, and Part 1305 of Title 21 of the Code of Federal Regulations, and to effect the ordering and receipt of controlled substances pursuant to the above DEA license. I hereby ratify and confirm all that said attorney shall lawfully do or cause to be done by virtue hereof. I further acknowledge that this power of attorney may be revoked at any time upon the execution of a notice of revocation as per 21 USC 1305.05. We did it last week, but now that we have a number, I'll make a motion to grant the power of attorney to Ryan Everman for controlled substances for the use of emergency medical services, SEER.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we already discussed the Willow subdivision. Mr. Hunt. New business, heating and cooling bids are in for the year.
Should have two there.
We have form, we just.
No, not as fancy as. Yeah. Oh, this- sorry,
First heating and cooling bid. Is that Nadine Mechanical? Nadine Mechanical. Where's Wesley at? Does this include the update for the KDH building?
Yeah, I don't have the other one, but Native Mechanical does have it on. Combined together with the highway garage and animal shelter.
So they're both will provide HVAC, PM service for the county buildings listed in documents provided by the county officials. Jail, $12,300. Doctor's office building, I assume that's what they speak of. Animal shelter, emergency medical services, highway garage, $6,500. Tech center, $4,800, and the courthouse, $12,300. For a total bid of $35,900. Nadine Mechanical. EDI. EDI didn't quite break down price per bill. Sure that it's the exact same stuff, they didn't break it down. Animal shelter. Emergency response, SER, technology and education center, Switzerland County Courthouse, Sheriff's Department and jail, medical building, including nurse managed clinic and health departments. So their total bid, $20,304 even.
$35.
I'll tell you for the record that their bid is extremely lower. Several of the county agencies tell me that we currently have EDI. That they're very difficult, I think is the word to use most times to work with. You don't know if they're coming and going. You don't know what other, their bid is quite a bit lower. We never know what the expenses are that are coming in. Stop me if I'm wrong at any time, Wesley. We never can project what their costs are because we don't know when they're coming and going. We had Nading in the past before I was around in this. Everybody loved them and they were predictable and they knew exactly what they were getting with Nading. Just food for thought. I don't have much experience with them, but I listen.
They were in here before I took off.
Probably 4, maybe 4, 5.
Western could probably tell you.
How long have we had EDI?
Third year. Not that they don't do the work, I just, they're unpredictable when, how many man hours are PMs and how many are just call-ins. They come and they go, we don't know when they come, when they get, when you get It should give us a ticket every time they're here. Somebody should sign for a ticket when they leave, so we can get that. We have all the other companies that got a ticket at least, for the auditor or somebody in the building can sign for it. Take what I did today. We don't get that.
And I talked to a lot of people. Absolutely, correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe what I'm told is that they're harder to work with, even on a personal level, versus the past companies. Is that right?
Is this the extent of Nadine's quote?
That was all up in that envelope.
That's what I got.
Did they by chance, I mean, EDI's got what their hourly rate is? Did Nadine by any chance give me an hourly rate?
He did tell me on the phone today that they put around between 300 and 400 PM hours. Which is no cost for just, but that's this price.
I guess when I say hourly rate, if they have to do repairs, et cetera.
Yeah.
EDI's hourly rate was 95 for HVAC technician and controls technician, 120 an hour. Oh,
We could probably get that.
I mean,
That's where,
it'd be nice to know because if, if these guys are 120 an hour versus 80 an hour, right, which I doubt that it is, then that could be part of the reason why it's such a big
yeah,
difference.
I'm pretty sure the jail used pretty much all of their costs last year, the money they had set aside for that. So are they making more for call-ins? Probably so.
And then once Navy said, they have a disclaimer there to be,
On material,
that
yeah.
materials can, this is a quote. But what's that percentage that it could go up at, time of purchase? They have to have a cap on it. There's a disclaimer at the bottom of their quote. I'll read it.
I'll read it out loud, so we can all on the same page. Nadine Mechanical's disclaimer is, since pricing of material is extremely volatile, our material cost is based on price and availability at time of quote. If material pricing has increased at the time of purchasing order is received, we will have to adjust our pricing.
I'm assuming that's materials that they would buy.
I agree, but what they just, I don't know, you said it, it gotta be,
Based on that, they could increase it 1,000%.
they're leaving they left us wide open on that.
That's good.
That's kind of a dangerous game to play.
I'm very messed up. I just think with EDI, we just need to get a hold on when they're here, when they're not here. Luann finally made them sign in, sign out. But they really charge us from the time they leave till the time they get home. Some days you don't know when they leave. They leave at 10. Do they get home at 4? I don't know. They just need to sign something. Somebody needs to know when they're leaving. Or when they're leaving.
Basically, for us.
We don't have to make the decision. Okay with us.
So I would ask, I'm with Joe, I think we should table this, I think we have limited information from both companies.
You want to get both of them?
So 2 weeks from now, in our next meeting, it would be nice to know what is the cap on inflation prices. I understand inflation's inflation, but they've got to put a cap, because they're leaving us wide open for expenses.
Would you want both of them in here?
That would probably be a good idea. Now we need to know what is Nadine's, like Jamie said, what is their hourly? And is EDI willing to settle in with us and giving us a ticket so we know when they're coming and going? That's not hard. They're coming and going out of our buildings.
They got to write that.
Find any county employee for all I care and give them a ticket so they can get to you. I think we're wide open on both these contracts and I think.
Yeah, I'd recommend this isn't really a contract that I'd say we sign and just said, this is it. I'd say that we need to draft something more formal, especially if there's concerns, and we can handle that.
Yeah, then we need to draft, the only. The only question I'd have is we've already read each other's quotes, right?
Yeah, how close are we? Is it?
Well, they're
Yeah, they're-
20 versus 36. No, 20,000.
Oh, I see. There's
36,000. That was different.
Okay.
35,900 versus 20,000.
Question is this a responsive bid that meets the requirements that we need? So, what you can do is you can open and accept both, and then when they come here, you're just accepting both, you know, you're accepting, but you're not signing a contract yet. You're accepting these bids, and then depending on which is the most responsive, if that one meets the lowest and best in terms of is it responsive, does it meet everything we need? And then I think we need to say, here's the terms of our contract that we need.
Do further explanation.
It's actually common practice. A lot of counties say, we're opening and accepting all bids.
Until the 19th of May.
Yeah. And so you'll work on offering them the opportunity to.
So are you tabling or what's that?
Will we be accepting the bids?
Yeah, I'd say you're accepting all bids subject to next
Negotiation.
discussion, contract negotiation.
So I'll make a motion to accept all bids pending further discussion on May the 19th.
The most important thing, sorry. Most important thing here is we can't let another person come in and bid this.
No.
To your point, once you've opened these things, because I've had some folks try to do that of, no, it's these two, making sure that they can meet the requirements that we need for the job.
All right. And on that note, Mr. Scott Stanton from ADH Norton discuss our medical building. Sir,
Sure. Would you like for me to provide an overview of the current situation?
that would probably do that.
Guys, thank you for having me. My name is Scott Stanton. I work for Norton Healthcare. Would you like for me to stand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. When we created our partnership with King's Daughters, we very quickly had a cyber event right after the integration of the two facilities. It took us a little bit of time to get off the ground, integrating the outpatient ambulatory physician practices into the network. Now that that's settled, we have a minute to catch our breath and address some of the existing leases that were with King's Daughters. Wesley and Ethan Purcell, who is the engineer on the Madison campus for King's Daughters, came to me with some questions about the lease. Who's responsible for performing what responsibilities in the lease? There's about 20 years of history there, and I heard several different opinions on how we got here. There have been a lot of leadership changes in the last 20 years. The fact remains that the document that we had in place had a lot of unanswered questions on whose responsibility it was when a sink is leaking or a toilet overflows or there's a leak in the roof. I extended an invitation to Mr. Harrison and Wesley. We sat down at the clinic with Ethan, the engineer, and had an open and frank conversation about how the county wanted to manage that building and the responsibilities that they wanted Norton to have for the tenancy of that building. It breaks down among traditional tenant landlord responsibilities, where the structure grounds outside of the space that we lease from you guys, or the infrastructure of the building that supports that space. That's typically something that I see as a responsibility of a landlord. Care of the premises within the walls of the suite is typically a responsibility of the tenant. And for the most part, that's how our conversation broke down, where we would consider a modified gross lease where there's some responsibilities on the landlord and some responsibilities on the tenant. I saw some heads nodding and I sensed agreement with you, Mr. Harrison and Wesley. This was a agreeable path to pursue. I've outlined those different responsibilities in an email and a bullet pointed document before we get to a lease that has a lot of words and a lot of legalese. I came to ask if there are questions about that general understanding of the lease agreement, and I'm happy to answer any of those if I can.
When we met, we discussed, like you said, what I Wesley felt that the county should be responsible for, if they are going to have a say. We did not speak about, we did agree that there will be a rent increase.
You guys, we've been paying you the same rent rate since two thousand
We
twenty.
didn't
It's
speak
about time.
dollars and cents, because that's only proper in this meeting. So that's something we have to work out. What is an agreeable, what is an appropriate increase for heating and cooling? So that's where kind of where we're left at right now, is kind of go over the fine aspects of that and dollar amounts, which we haven't discussed yet.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I'd say is, I think it's kind of a unique situation because the county uses part of that facility and then we lease out other portions of it. A typical commercial lease, the person leasing would be pretty much responsible for everything except for a couple key components, like a roof or something to that effect. But because this is a unique situation, I think that we need to understand that it is unique, but I think our rental price should be reflected, should reflect accordingly some of the costs of those inherent, that inherent maintenance.
100%.
If you will.
We
Would be
feel
all that I would,
What is it?
I'm sorry.
What is 1940?
1940.
1940.
it's time for a rate increase.
So the only changes were, we were gonna incur, if we had a leaky sink or something, Wesley said had no problem fixing that because it saves hours and possibly further extensive damage to our building. What were some of the other things, Wesley, other than,
We just need access to the building.
yeah, that we were gonna get access to the building, which we currently don't have. We were always informed that was a HIPAA issue, but I think there's things that Wesley can sign that.
It'll be taken care of in a new lease.
That part of it.
You should go maintain those files in a secure location where we can access them.
100%. And to be honest with you, we don't document on paper anymore. So
Yeah, and then, of course, we're acquiring the heating and cooling system on them.
which is then in that central location in the practice. Ryan, the operating expenses that we had discussed as landlord responsibility were capital expenditures, if there's any roof replacement or capital required for the building.
Which we had in place prior, and that was part of the old contract.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You would need to cover your insurance, landscaping and snow removal for the property. Wesley's access to somebody off hours in case there's an emergency that we need to notify somebody that there's something going on with the building. And then repair and maintenance for buildings, grounds, parking lot, and some of the internal suite. The responsibilities that would be on the tenant would be timely payment of rent. For the utilities that are direct billed to the suite, we would put those in our name and pay those directly. We would clean our suite and pay for the janitorial and housekeeping of the suite. And then anything that's not tied to the building, refrigerators and smoke detectors, would be on the tenant.
I guess we need to come up with what's a reasonable rental rate and then of course, here, we will have to review the contracts up this thing, we do it on the food.
I think they take care of the pest control tonight.
Yep.
Norton takes care of pest control.
I don't know if that's something
I-
he's doing or not doing.
I can be flexible on that. Pest control is not a huge expense. We're happy to care for the suite, or if you want one pest contract for the building, which is how some landlords with multiple suites do it, just so that you ensure it's taken care of and you're not, I drop the ball or you have your pest control taken care of. Either way, we're open to it.
I think it makes sense for, based on the way the rest of the lease agreement structured, it probably make more sense for us, the county to do it. Right.
So I would agree with that.
Just curious, Leslie, how many square feet is that portion of the building, you know?
I do not know. I don't think it's about 4,000.
We're,
Like
for our suite, we're about, 4,300 right now.
John, do you know what offices, approximately how many square feet is that we lease in this facility?
That we lease.
Rent,
Off the top of my head, but I mean, it would just be the suite upstairs.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, we just had what's the medical place beside, the bank we just covered?
That's not that. Or that,
Okay,
it's just.
I guess
but
that's,
that would give us a point, right?
that's what I was trying to do, try to kind of base
Yeah.
what the square footage, price per square footage that we're doing here to be somewhat consistent.
I think that was just established in January, so
Mhm.
I'd be curious to find out what the rate is there.
Where's it at?
Right by
It's the
Friendship.
radio station,
Go to,
Bell's radio station.
County owns it.
no,
No.
I'll just say that's.
He's just
it
saying-
gives it a compare-
He's just,
Use it as a
Yeah.
comp as well,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what was throwing me off, I kept trying.
we don't have any.
Property.
They could use radio
Uh,
station.
I'm a little slow, but.
Just looking at basic math of paying Wesley to come down for anything. And the new bid on what they said for the heating and cooling. Per month.
Do what?
That's an,
Increase?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna
yeah, wow.
say.
Which is,
No, I don't see the number.
so a 25. 1940, right? That's what we just said. 25 is $485 a month, that's $58.20 a year, which offsets Wesley and the heating and cooling bill.
Can you tell me that number again, please?
At 1940, 25%. It's $485 monthly. 58.20.
So you're saying 1940, the existing rent payment increased by 25.
485.
Right, plus 25% increase, which is 485 additionally a month. 5,820.
We're in the ballpark.
So approximately 25 a month. What you're saying, yep.
So the heating, cooling, the amount of times that you can only predict what Wesley's gonna get for what has happened in the past here and there.
And you have no idea what that space,
Those individually, those offices are, they're about 130 square feet piece. There's, and there's three of them. I don't know what they're renting.
I know what it was when we was renting to the engineering firm. It was like,
Oh, that was the other suite, yeah.
Oh,
that's,
okay.
Um.
I think they were around 1,600 or 1,700 a month for those. That's
A couple of dollars for the street.
Per suite.
If we're in that ballpark, I can put it in a document, and when you guys discuss it, we can finalize that. If we're in that ballpark, I feel good about it, that we can finalize it when that number's in the document, if that's how you guys would choose to proceed.
So there's no, I'll make a motion to increase Norton's rent for the medical building, 25%, $485 a month. Or $5,820 annually.
I'm okay with putting that number into the draft lease document, no problem. I'm not sure if you would like to read the document.
Wait till we see the lease, and then we just vote to approve the lease.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
So they give them a number.
You can give them that number. You just, nothing's official. This is just negotiations and then nothing's official until you actually vote on the lease.
Okay.
So if you can,
I'm okay with the number.
Okay.
you can, you say your team's already got the lease.
I have a lease template that if you'd like to take a look at it, I'd love
Do
to
we already
use.
have a lease in place or?
It's 25 years old.
Okay, no, we need to.
It doesn't have the address of the facility. It's time to clean it up just a little.
No, work. If you have your attorney contact me, I can work.
Okay.
You,
I'll be your contact.
Kind of timeframe you think you're walking for that?
I can populate that lease document within a week or two. And then the review is contingent on how many topics.
So
For review.
May 19th, our next meeting, May 19th, is that enough time to have it populated?
I can have a draft lease to him within 2 weeks. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, we'll talk about it again then.
You go back
May
there.
19th. Here. That work?
Yes, sir.
That-
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Over there.
I was so confused for a minute.
You were on the-
Well.
Never heard a Dusty go hear it before.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so the next thing on new business is, it came up, ER and ambulance. Yeah, the reason that's on here. Just come on, Ryan. The base of it is the company, was willing, I talked to the, I guess, the salesperson, I guess.
Sales rep, yeah.
And he was willing to give us till today to decide whether we would basically approve Ryan to go before council. And, so go ahead. Give your-
So we found a 2025 demo unit. It's got right around 1,000 miles on it right now. The asking price is 195,000. It's 170-inch box. So it's bigger than the last one we got, which that's a lot of the complaints is the terrible ride on the small box. You can't stand up fully in it. And it's wearing and tearing. It's small box, small chassis. It's got work brakes on it right now, so we need a bigger chassis. The 350 chassis is just too small for what we're doing. So this is on a 450 chassis with 7.3 in it. It's got the auto loader plate in the back. And did you see the message I sent you the other day? That there is not a plate in the back.
What year is?
25. It's a brand new one. It's a demo that they've,
We still made it 7.3.
it's the new gas.
That's the,
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
gas.
So here is the purchase agreement with all their specs on it. I've only got one copy of this because it's multiple pages. You have a copy of it already, don't you? It's currently not set up for the current cot situation we have where we're using the manual load system. It has to have a plate in the floor. He says that ambulance is tapped for that, or would have to be modified, put the plate system in. It does have the auto loader rail. The auto loader, though, on top of that is, depending on where we're at, and the Chevy needs one too. That's a whole other topic. I'd love that too, but there's two prices on here. The top one is for a new unit. The second one is for a used unit, but there's like 60 people in that line. This plate we don't need because we're already
These are
in
the
there.
two prices.
This is new. This is used. And this is a 3-year service plan. You didn't break it down as a yearly rate. So it's $17.64 a year per auto loader.
So without an auto loader, what does a brand new ambulance? He gave you that price too, didn't he? Because this one's demo.
It was like around 260, 270. They got that other one that's in the works. He said was like right around.
$80,000.
So I might not have been paying attention. Would the auto loader be required on the new ambulance? So
We could put the old system in there, but a plate's got to be put in.
So the 195 then goes to a minimum of 221 ballpark. That's what the
That's with the used one in it. And there's like 60 people in that line.
What's the status of our ambulances right now?
We have a 2000 that's in Patriot that's not moved since I started. It all does only have like 40,000 miles on it, but it's old. You know, to get that thing back out of the back lot, we had to have brake lines, tires and everything put on it. It's got some lights out on it and it's a, you know, it could have vintage tags on it by now. You can't buy the lights that are burnt out. Wayland don't even make them anymore. We've got another one that's got 212,000 miles on it. It runs great. The other one we have has right around 160 on it, has a check engine light on right now for the catalytic converter, and that ambulance has already had 2 catalytic converters put on it. Not really sure what's going on with that ambulance. All the O2 sensors are throwing codes, but they're all been replaced, so. The other one we have is the 23 Chevy, the 4-wheel drive that has roughly 80,000 miles on it. And then the chase vehicle, which is right around 40 something. So,
So we can sell some of these ambulances.
I don't know what we can get for them. I mean, he told us the trade-in price on one was like $2,500. So
Traded.
How much did we just pay for the one we got here?
149. It was also a demo, and it's smaller. Yeah,
Same place, same company.
same company. Yeah,
So we bought 2 in the last 2 years.
about 1 in 23 was the last time one was bought.
When was the one before that ball?
19.
So,
But we had a 15 and a 16 out there in a fleet and a 2000.
I mean, obviously, I think we need equipment in this county. We don't have that kind of money right now. So that's something that county council is gonna have to decide if we move forward, if we don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we felt stronger, we could approve the purchase, which is what commissioners do, and request the funding from casino revenue or rainy day or, you know, it's gonna be rainy day.
That kind of.
And do you have other quotes as well, or?
Striker's the only one that makes that piece of equipment. They sell it themselves.
Yes, I mean, ambulance. Not that I think they're gonna be cheaper, right?
They're gonna be more. They're gonna be closer to the 300 range.
We had one quote, I can't tell you the name of the company.
GEV out of Pennsylvania or whatever.
$19,000.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I went to FDIC and most mid-road ambulances are approaching 300 area. You get into the higher end ambulances, you're approaching the 400 area.
Yeah, so don't take this the wrong way. So do we not have a plan like you have
No.
for the trucks?
Zero
Okay.
plan.
What you doing?
Well, I mean, we have to get this in some kind of schedule, just like Dusty does the trucks, in my opinion.
The EMS study that came out in 23 that the county paid for says in there that they should be replaced every 5 years or 150,000 miles, whichever comes first.
I understand that.
The mileage is gonna beat the 5 years. I mean,
You approved new billing rates last meeting. Do you know approximately what the annual impact that'll have? Positive impact?
I think it'll have a positive impact. The numbers,
do that.
that we're going to have a half year to figure it out though this year too. And it, you know, that takes June 1st. So
We do approximately how many runs a year?
not off the top of my head now. And in the current system we have, it's hard to run reports in that thing at all. But once I get into ESO, which is what we're switching to, the reporting is unlimited.
You know, I know we're not a corporation, we're not but we should be good stewards of taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
We know that we made a change recently that should increase the revenue of FCER. We should try to put a dollar amount to that increased revenue. FCER currently runs about a $700,000 a year deficit, meaning the revenue is about $400 to a $1.1 million operating budget. So I think I can sit here and say, yeah, we need it, and I think we ought to get it, because that's what I believe, but I think we should show the taxpayers the other things that we're doing and what the dollar impact is, positive dollar impact, to help offset some of these types of hits or decisions, justify these types of decisions, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys agree with that or disagree with that.
I do to an extent. People should know, I'm all about that transparency. But then I work in the emergency medical, or in the emergency field in life, and the last thing this county can afford to do is have Billy Bob calling that his wife's having a massive stroke and our ambulance breaks down on Markham Pike because we were too cheap to service our equipment. And I think that's a catastrophic mistake on a government side.
The auto loader,
Yeah, that's from my-
although the auto loaders are not required, but I mean, price 33,000 for an auto loader is, I mean, how many back injuries does that thing save? I mean,
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, and one, you know, said, one back injury costs more than that, right?
so. And we have 2 ambulances that'll take those. That's only for one, so.
I would like what Jamie said, the next meeting would be nice if you could get a rough projection of what dollar amount our new ordinances can bring before us. You know, but at the same time, I still think we need to focus on maintaining our equipment. It became a priority. The sheriff's department, they're buying new vehicles. It's, I work to buy it. You have to maintain equipment or it's an expenditure. A county can live without a lot of things, but cannot live without police, fire, and emergency medical services.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's why you have rainy day funds.
we don't have the money. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase based on whether county council thinks we have the money or not. But let me clear one thing. I think we should pull back on this part of it for a minute. That's the auto loader. I think we should do stair steps here. What's the most important to the county right now? And that's to have an actual operating,
Ambulance,
and this is an ALS ambulance, right? All that.
everything will fit in there.
So it's a motion to approve contingent on appropriation film.
That's my motion. That's all I'm for. That's my motion.
Seconded, right? Awesome.
All in favor?
And I'll clarify, well, opposed. I'm not opposed to the purchase, don't misunderstand me. I want to know where we're at relative to, I already know that we got a $700,000 deficit between our annual operating costs and the revenue. And we know we're doing some things different to.
We got the lit money and stuff,
Right.
yeah, and also,
I would like for us to say, okay, yeah, we approved this. And we know that with the other changes we've made that it's got a 5-year lifespan as recommended. The things that we just did, we'll pay that off during that 5-year term. That's my only opposition is that I think we need to show how we justify the purchase, and I don't know that we've presented those numbers. That's my only opposition.
Okay, so
so ask council for the ambulance price, and that's where we're leaving it.
Yep.
You need me to sign that?
you're right. I just, any board reports?
We had endowments, the other night, just going through investments, and then, John, here, we're gonna have another endowment meeting in July. You know, like the information that you presented to us over the weekend, and that was valuable for me. But for the endowment, if you could attend and help us understand, like the supplemental wagering tax, there's some terms and a lot of numbers that are moving different directions.
Yeah.
That, you know, if you could do that, and then I think it would be beneficial with us having a new council, new commissioners, you know, maybe having a joint meeting sometime where
I think that's a great
all
idea.
that's explained. Because, you know, I looked at the number last year, I think it was 82 million. Now we're worried about, are we going to eclipse 75 million? We're tracking maybe 76, 77. But there's just some different terms that I need help with and others would like it as well.
Yeah.
Patty and Rod have some other information regarding some of the questions.
Sounds good.
And again, thank you for the information that you sent over the weekend.
I've got more coming.
I don't have any reports. I don't know. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I have a
I got,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
I have a
I got
question.
one.
They are having an event in town with the goat toddler or something, and they're having like a book fair and they want to know if they could use the courthouse lawn, and author is going to read to the children just for the stories. And that's at their rain.
I have no
I
problem.
dare someone to.
Read to the
Like,
children.
you know, those go popular with.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I told her I'd ask tonight, and
Yeah, they're doing that.
she said it was just, the courthouse lawn would be a nice area to
What day is it?
Saturday.
And we also,
Yeah.
with the town's putting on the, what is it, the car show coming on in
Yeah, I don't know.
a few weeks.
That might be the, yeah.
I think it's, that they were, or Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, the weather's looking nice, so I hope all the local businesses are prepared, be prepared.
And were you gonna ask about this thing that Jenny laid out here?
Well, we already covered that, about the overage.
No, I wasn't. What she and I talked about is last year, or well, when the ARPA money came, 1 million of that was set aside strictly for highway and the roads and all that. So you guys had, well, paving was the other one on board, but for the all-star paving, what they got approved last year to do and what have you, and then what Omera had to do. It could be, I guess Jenny is
Yeah.
concerned about the $1 million was set aside for that, but what if it goes over that $1 million? What is spent? It can't go over that million. Okay. I told her I would ask for some clarity because of the overage that the All-Stars sang, or the whatever it was.
Well, let's back up here. We do have one, it ain't an overage, but remember on O'Mara's bid, we was gonna be a little bit short of having enough money to cover it, which was gonna be the $6,988.
Right.
We couldn't remember where we was gonna take that from.
And in the minutes, there wasn't nothing that was said. I haven't actually went back and listened to them, but from what I typed and what was approved, there was no mention of the difference of casino revenue.
So let me restate that. We shouldn't spend over the $1 million that was voted on and allocated,
Yeah.
without an additional vote. If there's still 10 or 15,000 or whatever left in ARPA,
Well,
is there any left? There should be. a
there'll be
vote.
some left, but like what Dusty's saying,
We knew we didn't have enough for
it's gonna be
O'Mara.
about
It come in,
$7,000.
it come in cheaper than we thought, but we was still gonna be 6,988 short of covering that. But we added, remember we added the 3 roads, the Goodner, Cole, and Herman, and we knew it was gonna be a little over what we had left. And we said where to take that from, but we don't remember where it was supposed to come from.
Well, we can spend up to the $1 million like we voted on and approved. In order to go over the $1 million, then we would have to vote to allocate additional monies
Okay,
toward that.
Okay,
so then
So
that's,
it doesn't matter where the overage is or where it came from, we just would have to approve it,
right,
because we've only approved the first $1 million.
yeah,
okay, so then that answers that question,
yeah.
the 7,000, or give or take, round up, you might
Yeah.
say, that we can, if that's the case, then we can come back and ask for an additional, okay.
Yes, and if there's
So-
money in the ARPA, we can
There
say,
will be,
take it from there. Right.
but then her next concern is
It has to be spent by the end of this year anyway,
yes.
right?
Mhm.
So if what is it, the overrun, is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
for All Stars.
It's All-Star, and then there's also, the retainage for All-Star, 77,000.
That'll be in their normal price though. The retainage is added into that.
To the
77. Yeah, cause every bid, like, until we get everything approved and finalized, you'll keep a certain retainage out. But that 77 is with that 47,000 overrun.
Okay. And then
So
you're
if we
gonna work
don't
on
pay the 47,000, it'll drop down to whatever they had left.
Like 30 some.
Yeah, I think so, 30.
Okay. That was my question, and I told her, she talked to me about that, and I said, yeah, I could ask
So we will need
an
an
additional.
additional $6,988 for old mayor's that was over to start with. Not over, but we was short.
His bid was over what we had
Mhm.
relative to the million.
Yep,
Two totally different types of
Yes.
overages.
yes.
When does
Right,
that have
yeah.
to be, when do we have to figure that out by?
As quick as we can, cause it's done as well. Goodner
Dale
Coal.
Mayer is finished. and
Blacktop as well.
Is All Star, are they finished with everything?
Yep, All Stars finished. as well.
So, I'm guessing you guys would need to vote on something tonight if you could.
We could vote on it contingent upon the money being available in
Or-
the ARPA.
Okay.
And the only one we won't vote on is the overage until we talk to Gary.
So the $6,988 is an overage from Dave O'Meara strictly, nothing to do with All Star or anything like that.
Yeah. That's what we was short of to start.
So
So
just,
what we're talking about is back when we received 2 point some million dollars in ARPA fund. Restricted, all of it was
Okay.
unrestricted. And so we allocated X toward paving, X toward courthouse renovation, and there was 40-some thousand or 70-some thousand unallocated that we said we would later go back and allocate as we needed.
The problem I'm running into in other areas is, they are looking to claw back ARPA funds that was not encumbered December 31st of this year.
of this year, of 25.
I meant
24.
last year, yeah. Because I'm running into that in other areas where if money was encumbered or not.
Was it restricted or unrestricted?
Well, that's the question. So that may be the different funds, so.
Yeah.
Oh, it was totally
Yeah,
unrestricted.
this was unrestricted, and it was, and as far as it being on the report that I had to have filed by the end of the year,
Yeah.
I allocated it all. I even kind of went over, even though just to.
So
kinda
you've
cover
done
our
that, you've
bases.
got your reports and everything.
Yeah, I've done all that.
I just wanted to make sure that.
You all originally allocated it and signed it and all that as well, so. it's
Right, there's
kinda
money,
always
but
in play.
hope you come in lower. Always. What do you guys think?
So we need to vote on whatever we put in.
$6,988 to be allocated from the ARP funds for the,
I'll make a motion to approve final payment to David Lamar in the amount of $6,988 from ARPA funds, contingent upon that balance being available.
yes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Wesley, we have Memorial Day coming up, so we'll be on for the courthouse weekend.
Yeah, Justin's got quite a bit of work to do yet.
He and I talked about that the other night.
Okay.
I believe that.
Yeah, Gail's gonna order new flags. Of course, the order's been behind us all last week, but
Yeah.
flags or when this was gonna happen, I didn't get it mowed for now. Yeah, we should be good.
Looks good.
I got, I talked to Brandon from Freightliner today, and he was wondering if we could pay for them truck chassis around August for the first two, and then maybe the third one around September. They're getting ready to go to the body shop, so we'll pay for the chassis, and then when the body shop gets done with the beds, plows, we'll pay for that portion. That'll let me do.
I mean, it's already been approved, funds are
Right,
there, so.
yeah.
Get me anything.
Oh, and the spring cleanup dumpsters, we did fill all 6 of them, and they was picking them up today. I think they have one left, and we left it. Put on. So it went good.
Good.
Even with all the rain, it turned out pretty good.
The town, they, all theirs were full too.
Was they? Good deal.
And the Patriots went.
Hopefully that'll help a lot. Says everybody did good.
Mhm.
Deal, it's all I get.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So I got a little bit of clarity on, it looks like bond is